Okay.
You can leverage a larger knowledge pool.
Larger knowledge pool.
More learning for the developers.
More learning for the developers. Everybody has control, and nobody has control. Either way, yeah. Sorry? You can contribute to it. What else? Good set of 50, 60 people. Don't be shy.
I really trust open source more.
Yeah. Why is that?
Because look, I have no idea what Microsoft guys do with the signal side. I see the same bug I stuff with you. But open source, everybody sees coordinates and such. So people are lost and
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Better code quality.
Better code quality? Okay.
Diverse governance.
Diverse governance, yep. Beautiful.
a lot of problems we have common among different companies or.
That's a very good point. Yeah. So at least some commonalities of misery loves company, so we can all solve the same problem. Yeah, makes sense.
The project success of any one particular business.
Bingo. Yeah. 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 Based on the number of contributions, diverse contributions, the whole works. Yeah. Look at this. Yeah. Exactly. Helps with hiring. Indeed. Yeah. Wonderful. So here is, I think, all of the above. This is something that's important for Google as well. Pretty much everything that you guys mentioned. But one thing that we also hear consistently from all our vendors, and somebody mentioned it here, from all our customers, is that there is a tremendous fear of vendor lock-in. Right? And at least being open source software, there is at least a hope of going cloud agnostic, if you do, or at least vendor agnostic one way or the other. And I think that's been a pretty big driving factor for a lot of us here to double down. And as I mentioned, pretty much all of my charter Fung leads are Cloud Composer or Managed Airflow offering on top of GCP. We have Aniket sitting there who leads some part of our Data Proc offering, and I don't see anybody from Data Fusion. They are probably busy with the GA release of the software that's coming out soon. Cool. So the next one, what do we do as a part of this open source offering at Google? So let me probably talk about it. Right? So open source data analytics at Google, and these are all the logos. If you can identify all, kudos to you. I could not first time around, but there is a fair bit of stuff. The point is not so much to actually look at the logos, but the point is that we actually have a footprint one way or the other in all of these aspects. So Kubernetes, you're probably very familiar with, one of the fastest growing products or open source projects that's out there. TensorFlow, those are the two marquee things up here. Spark, Hadoop. As I mentioned, we already have a product offering based on that. Apache Beam is something that, as a part of Google, we open sourced about 2-3 years ago. So we firmly believe in this in terms of how we go about doing that. Some of them are first-party products. Some of them are offered as an add-on in terms of, so if you look at Apache Tez or Druid, we actually allow you to custom install that on top of a data proc image and whatnot. But we are firmly in the business of making sure that, A, we play nicely with open source. You've probably seen a lot of press recently around how cloud is cannibalizing open source in general. This is something that we are very, very cognizant of in Google. We want to make sure that we actually are playing by the rules, and not only that, as a part of our commitment to Airflow, you can probably see why this meetups and everything is very important for us. Right? So we want to contribute back. We are not just in the process of taking and making sense out of it. So that's sort of the what of how we are going about doing that. And then the third important point here is really the how, right? So you just met Gris. She is around somewhere, maybe out again, looking at why are we away from food for more than such a certain amount of time. But jokes apart, I think she's been super involved in making sure that teams at Google who want to participate in open source have a very clear blueprint. What does it mean? It's very complex. You got to realize that traditionally enterprise companies or companies who are not familiar with open source have a very hard time, especially on the Apache side of the world. TensorFlow, slightly bit of a different licensing model, but there is a process that you have to follow. There is also, it ties into people's own personal development at Google as well. So this just doesn't end, frankly, at our ability to contribute into open source, but how we explain these contributions back into Google's broader teams, so that people's, here we have a pretty well-defined process for promotions, and we go through a pretty rigorous process of evaluating peers. So if people do not have a good understanding of what it means to participate in open source, oftentimes to a naked eye, the engagement looks like, what's the big deal? There's a bunch of responses going on in an email, or, but there is a lot of stuff that happens as a part of that. So I think there is a lot of awareness that goes in. So Gris and her team helps with that. We participate in a lot of open source communities. We sponsor a lot of events. We have meetups like this. So we do a part of that. Then there is the teams like us who are deeply involved in grooming and nurturing the community. So we are happy to take this message to other teams who are in the process of open sourcing. So for example, Beam was something that was a part of my team about 2-3 years ago. We consciously decided to open source the Dataflow SDK at that time in the form of Beam. And growing that community has been a long process. And now I think it's settled, but it was an experience that we are now happy to impart to other teams. And all of these things are something which is systematic at Google, and we are actually spending a fair bit of time to make sure that we encourage other people and other teams to participate in that as well. So that brings us to this meetup, Apache Airflow. So we'll share a little story on Airflow, and maybe you've heard it in the past meetups with Fung and whatnot. But there was, if I roll the clock back to maybe 3.5 years ago, around the time when I joined Google, there were several attempts to figure out an orchestration story on top of Google Cloud Platform. We went through everything from, let's build it, we are Google, we know the best, we have the smartest engineer, we can do everything. So we tried that. We had a couple of other attempts before we started realizing that there is this Airflow project that's out there. We evaluated other open source projects as well. And essentially it came down to, shall we do something as a part of in-house offering, or shall we do something as a part of aligning with open source? And I'm very glad that we decided to align with open source. Airflow has been one of the fastest growing workflow orchestration services that's out there, getting a lot of traction. Just look at this meetup itself, right? I mean, somebody mentioned that you get diverse participation. I think almost the whole room is full, and we are expecting even more people to show up. So I think all of that has been very, very positive. This is also one of the projects where, with our close participation, Airflow has actually become a top-level project beginning of this year. I think January, February is when we actually got that. So I think our participation in the past, what I've also heard is a big company like Google getting involved in an open source community oftentimes is also looked at a little bit apprehensively, saying, what are you doing and what's the vested interest? And luckily with this community, I think we've got it right. So all of those bits have actually made our investment mutually beneficial. The Composer product, which is what we've built as a managed open source product, is one of the fastest growing products that I have as a part of my product portfolio. As well as the community is benefited because we are constantly contributing patches back into Airflow and growing that community as well. Right? The motto that we've heard from our customers, as well as from meeting with internally, but primarily with a lot of customers, is that we want a very easy solution, easy product to create and schedule and monitor workflows, period. End of story. In the past, it was actually quite comical. We had a lot of rich product offering, and I'm rolling the clock maybe 2-3 years ago. We had probably one of the most unique offering in terms of Dataflow, which is a combined batch and stream processing engine. We had Dataproc, which was managed Hadoop and Spark. And customers were super excited. They would come on the platform and say, yeah, but I need to stitch something together. And our response to that would be, yeah, can you use crontab and just manage it on your own? And they're like, are you okay? I won't curse, but are you serious? So I think this has landed really well. It has addressed a really key niche that the customers have been asking from us for a long time. And it actually shows in terms of our product adoption. I can't unfortunately share numbers unless you are willing to sign your name in blood, and I don't have a system where I can capture that, so we'll skip over that. But if you're interested, I'm hanging around for a little bit before I fall asleep. So come seek me out. Happy to chat with you guys about what has really landed as a part of Cloud Composer, which is our managed Airflow offering. Just a few customer testimonials in terms of what they have to say. When we actually announced this at Google Next, right, from July of last year, when we went GA, I'll just share one bit. As a part of our product offering, we have to go through what we call a pricing committee review, right? We have to price the product and we go through some projections. And the pent-up demand for this product was so high that in the first 7 months, we actually exceeded a 3-year mark in terms of our projections in various categories of utilization. So this has landed super well. This would not be possible if we hadn't aligned with Airflow, and I can very, very comfortably say that. People are gravitating to this product thanks to an open engine underneath. We've won number of bake-offs with a set of our competition when we go in and saying, what are you based on? Airflow? Oh, yeah, got it. Let's talk. So it opens up a lot of doors for us, which is why I'm super excited. Welcome to this summit. I think we have a full day of, or full evening. Sorry, my evenings are all messed up right now, but full evening of interesting talks and presentations. And welcome. Have fun.